like I said, so what happened was, right. So we talking about so what happened was when I was on the fifth floor a few weeks ago, coming from room 409, they put me on the fifth floor because there was a COVID outbreak on the seventh floor, the floor I'm at right now. But I was in room 750. I had to give that room up because at one point I had to give it up because they had to make room for a COVID patient. I was told. Hold on. I was told for a COVID patient. So I was like, all right, cool. But Lauren has said that the manager of the floor, but don't worry about it, Jeffrey. I will figure something. I'll get you back into your own room. I said, all right, cool, no problem. I understand. So, so, um, so they transferred me to another room, right? I think it was a room. I forgot what number it was, but I was in there with an old white guy named Vincent, and this was exactly what happened with Vincent, right? And according to Vincent, must have been a senile old man, like Alfred Cohn and shit. I don't know what his problem was. Had the shit, and that's all they keep doing in part of the United States Federal Marshal transfer. They keep making me share space with these old white men. They're like junkies. Everybody I live with has to be either a drug addict or some kind of a pedophile, has to be mentally ill, or derelict, or dirty like a Jew. They've been doing this to me for the last, I guess, 15, 20 years. They won't let me live by myself with a girl or normal person. They act like they just own. I've never seen this before because they don't want the story to come out. I guess they don't want me talking to the people who will make me aware. I don't know of who they are. TSI and his federal marshals bullshit. So they put me in a room with an old man named Vincent. So that night, went to sleep. Vincent kept coming to my side of the fucking room, like bugging out and shit at night. He just wouldn't stop. Well, he was doing some other shit too, dropping objects and shit. He kept doing all through the fucking night. But then he started coming on my side of the room. So then I told a nurse like at 2 or 3 in the morning, Jamaican nurse, hey, this guy keeps coming. She said, well, it's a hospital. They said the same shit. What do you want me to do? Well, the guy so she said, well, hey, I don't care. So then I go back to sleep, and Vincent do some shit. I think he dropped an object or something, wakes me back up, whatever the case is. And I'm like, yo. So I know I told this woman named, I think her name was Amanda or something. I forgot her name. Like a Hindu. She looked like she's Indian or something, but like very Americanized. I tell her like, yo, he's in there doing this, he's doing that. It's like 3 in the morning, whatever it is, 4 in the morning, whatever it is. She listens to me. Then I come back out and tell her, I said, you know what? Because I fell asleep at one point and I had a dream. I had a dream about an actress friend of mine. In that dream, it felt like somebody's knocked my hand over. I could almost feel it. But I didn't wake up. I didn't think about it. And then when I woke up, I went and told us that, and I went back out there and told that woman, I'm not sure, but I was asleep. It felt like somebody hit me and shit. But I didn't know. So she took note of it, whatever. So then at 9 a.m., 9:45 a.m. that morning, at about 9 o'clock a.m. that morning, Lee came in, a Chinese woman, who said, how you doing? And I'm like, yo, the guy next to me, boom, boom, boom. So she's like, she checked me out. When she left, I fell back asleep because I didn't get no sleep that night. Remember, this dude keep me awake. Now I go back to sleep. Now when I wake up, that dude Vincent is slamming my buttocks down like it's a trunk of a fucking car and shit. You know how you slam a car down with both your hands, the trunk, you closing it with your hands? That's how he's grabbing my ass. This old white man. There's something going on. And when I wake up, he says, this is my stuff. Like he looked down and like there was something on the side of the bed that belonged to him. So I started screaming and staff caught him on my side of the room, right? So I'm like, yo, yo. So I get upset because I told people the whole night something is fucking wrong with this shit here. So I got sexually assaulted, right? Then they bring this old Jewish bitch acting mean as hell will tell me what happened to see if she can talk me out of it. Basically, I've seen it before. Upstairs when somebody kicked my foot. Every time something happens to me, they run these hospital investigations. They say, and they bring in a social worker. Everybody checks you out. They bring a doctor in. The same routine. They've been abusing me since they can't control shit. But it's the same old Jewish woman who tell me what happened, like you're lying and shit or some shit. Wants to find some kind of flaw in your story. I'm just telling her like it is. So the Indian woman, the dude come in, I forgot his name. He's a PCA. To my, hey man, I started telling him, yo, get me out of here, you people. I told you the whole night, whatever. And he said, yo, we're gonna get you your own room, but relax. He said, we're gonna put somebody in here, a PCA, to do one of them, but still. So an Indian nurse comes in, whatever, and I told her I'm calling the police and shit. She said, go ahead. So I called the police. I called them up. Like, yo, tell them, I had to call them twice though, because I'm waiting long, whatever. So then I found out afterwards, nurses come in and say, what are you talking about? We spoke to the police. And they do this to me every time I go to the hospital when I have a complaint. They never let the police make contact with me. And the dude told me about how that shit works at Queens Hospital Center, whatever. You're supposed to talk to me, the victim. Their staff said, we talked to him for you. I said, well, what did you, that's how they keep transferring me around. Federal marshals. That's how they keep transferring me around. Letting people sexually assault me, and that they don't want nobody to find out because I'm under their custody. Right now I'm in their jail. This is how they justify me being in jail. The hospital room. It's supposed to be a little bit more comforting, but that's the whole point. Mark is a fucking nurse here who's medicating me just for the federal marshal. I don't give a fuck. So what happened was they transferred me, right, to room 409 on the 4th floor. They transferred me. They said, we're going to transfer you and have your own room, cool. When they transferred me there, they gave me the baddest fucking, I mean, that shit was nice. That little space. You had your own shower and shit. It was nice. And they had no telephone and shit. And I had to get a doctor's note if I wanted to take a shower. Though the shower's right there, they said you gotta wait for the doctor. But not even that, the cops was taking care of the police department, the NYPD. They're right there outside of my hallway. I could look at it, I could almost touch them. They're taking care of another patient across the hallway. But it's almost like they're supervising me almost. And shit, but I don't care, right? But it was like though. And then one day this Italian nurse says to me, the next day or whatever, you got schizophrenia, baby. You got schizophrenia, baby. And you're not seeing your psychiatrist. And she kept saying, because you're not seeing your psychiatrist. So now I took a step, she wanted a Jamaican order, a PCA, and to change my bed sheets. So I take a step back and ask her, well, who's my psychiatrist? And she goes like her eyes pop open. I don't know, that's how they keep doing me when I'm by myself for the Federal Marshals Department. I'm sick with kidney failure. She's worried about drilling in my head, I got schizophrenia, baby. That's all they think about, to make me feel crazy that nobody could ever believe you that TSI was your federal marshals having in a sting operation in New York State. Would make me punch myself inside the head and go through these fucking changes for all these years and shit. I mean, literally taking my fist and blasting myself because the federal marshals need this shit to go away. I've been begging that, and so I just explained to my last video, when I call lawyers, they call up the lawyer and tell them, hey, listen, I'm such and such. Don't help this guy out. I'm telling you like it is. And everybody being paranoid. Don't help him out. Whatever. And then when they come back to the phone, I can't help you out. That's all it is. They don't want me to get in contact with anybody who said, but still. So they was giving me spoiled milk. They wouldn't give me nothing. Then I have a phone in every other room I have a phone. I got a phone. Now I ain't got no phone. Remember, they took my phone from upstairs, so that's why I was like, yo, where's my phone at? They said a doctor has to authorize it. Does that make any sense to you? A doctor. So then I said, well, why I got a doctor got to authorize? That same Italian woman who was breaking me down at that moment said, you schizophrenic? She said, you schizophrenic because you're paranoid. You call the NYPD upstairs lying to them that somebody attacked you, to our Vincent. Vincent's like, he's Italian. But she said to me, that's why we ain't giving you no phone. Like I'm playing around on the phones. Just how they want to make me feel. And I ain't gonna lie, I was scared. And the cops were right behind her, talking about you acting. They said you being paranoid, like you calling the police up acting stupid. Like every time, and they abusing me. Federal marshals trying to make me lose credit and be scared to talk and bring things forward. Discourage me from speaking. Every time I talk to a woman when I'm by myself, she says I said the complete opposite when there's no witnesses around. I can't talk to those fucking people. That's what she did to me, a 409. Right? And so they wouldn't let me call no fucking body. I said, where's the payphone at? Every psych ward has a payphone and shit. She told me, I'll see if I can get the doctor's approval where I can monitor you. What the fuck going on? That's how far. As soon as they think I'm by myself and they just think that I'm abandoned, they do the same thing. White bitches, all people want to start abusing me and shit. So it happened, well, that don't make no sense. Every inmate can make a phone call. They only do this to me. They get their rocks off. And so what happened was I went to the drawers and I found the phone. The room has a phone. It has a phone. So I plugged the shit in and made 3 phone calls. My cousin Steve, I was messing with Harry. I forgot who else I called. I can't think about it. I think I called Tony, this dude I met, this barber. Like, yo, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, security comes to the door. That was a hospital. You got to hand the phone over. So they took the phone away from me. And shit, I handed it right over, put me in shock. Like, what the fuck is going on? But by the next day, they transferred me back up here. And shit, to a room across the hallway with another derelict white man in my fucking room, acting fucking stupid. Just how the federal marshals want to convince me I am retarded or lack the mental capacity. They keep me around these bum, derelict, jerk-like men. They won't stop. It could be a little hilarious just to bury me or drug addict white bitches. They have to have some kind of a mental, and it's supposed to rub off on me that anytime you can't get out of these circumstances, something must be wrong with you because you locked in with this shit here. That's their logic. Something has to be wrong with me if you can't find a lawyer or somehow find, you understand it? So I go crazy in the fucking room. The guy next to me is doing some stupid shit, acting. He started that same pacing back and forth shit the Jew guy was doing to me at the apartment. I said, no, we're not doing this no more. Acting stupid. He smelled like shit. That's all they think about to keep their jobs for what they did to me over there in Cunningham Heights, in Elmont. So finally, the one woman says, the young nurse says, all right, Mr. Martin, we're going to transfer you, which is why I'm back in this room here, where I coughed up the blood. But I believe they gave me something to cough up that blood, to induce it. I believe that shit because for 2 months, I've been telling them, let me get out of here and go back to my alternative treatment. That's effective. They saying, no, we're not letting you go. They finally had their way with me, but then they used that trick on the 5th floor because before we came back up here to the 7th floor from 409, I was on the 5th floor. I forget to mention that. And then that's when they said, I said, listen, Dr. Warman gave us the cure for this internal bleeding, whatever. But I explained to him, he knocked me unconscious afterwards with the propofol after they spoke to Paul Green or somebody at TSI, who was the federal marshals. They told him to knock him unconscious because they didn't want me getting healthy and becoming fully aware of that it's a federal marshal program. I've been abducted from the U-Haul out of certain land in my brother's house, in our house. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And, nobody knows how to, it's the biggest political fuck up, legal fuck up. People see political fuck ups, like when Ronald Reagan got shot, that one dude thought he was in charge of the country. It's a federal fuck up. And I got like about 3 different police departments, like 2, Nassau County, the 5th precinct, the 105, and now the federal marshals who've been facilitating my they only and TSI keeps driving me around in these white vans, like a fucking like a person who's a prisoner, and that's all they do. And shit, between these moves they be making for me, and shit, like I'm actually retarded. Meanwhile, all my friends, all you guys who know me, y'all be like, yo, Jeff, what the fuck is going? And that's what I'm trying to tell you. The federal marshals and shit, man, they've been bugging out for years with this shit and won't let me go. Now, they the ones who are behind my abduction. In other words, this is what's happening. This is going on. Guardianship or not, they already adopted me behind the state. When I was a kid, that's what the fuck is going on. When my father took me to Mary Immaculate, that was the Hoover and the federal marshals testing something out. They didn't want no black messiahs for the Black Panther Party, where they had me tied down using blonde hair, white women, which is why every time I came around a white woman in life, I'm supposed to feel a certain kind of way, subconsciously, and shit. And that's what had happened at one point, where when they came around, but it started coming. That experience started surfacing into the front of my mind many a times. I couldn't help that shit. That's my whatever. But they said back then they probably used electroshock therapy, a mild form of it, with medication to make me forget about the white women beating on me and shit, tying me to a wheelchair. These blonde-haired white women at the time getting over on me. I can't remember no men, but I remember the white women tying me down in the bed and shit, and put my mother Harriet on Haldol and shit. So I was supposed to, before I left that hospital, they did something to make me forget about that experience. But over the years, I would think about it, but it really wasn't a problem. Not until my early 20s when I started saying, wait a minute. You understand? And that's what they keep trying to suppress. But that was a federal operation by Hoover. He's trying to figure out how to get me on drugs in the future, how to make me a bum when they tie me to the wheelchair, making me talk to them, the white women. So they can't live with themselves right now. Shit. And that is the fucking problem. So that's why I'm going through this shit in this fucking hospital, in this hospital. They won't let me go. Now they won't take, the port here is about to get infected, and they got to take it out. They're supposed to have been taken out, but they still could have used it yesterday for dialysis. And my legs are swelling up again. I'm starting to cough again. I'm going to start vomiting again. And that's how they keep me in custody, ordering the fucking doctors or whoever. And that is a problem. I kept telling them to let me go to get my alternative treatment. Today they spring on me, we not letting you go. Why not? Because you have a guardian. Since when? So then I called the attorney with my sister on the phone, and he said that we went through with it. When I told him 2 days before, 5 days before the case, adjourn it. 2 days I told him. And then I got sick with the blood, and I agreed to the dialysis which is what the summons is about. Summons is right here. What the summons is all about. What the summons is all about. That's what it's all about. That I lacked the mental capacity to do dialysis, but before that court date, I did it. So when he went to court, all he had to say was he's doing dialysis now, Your Honor. And that was supposed to be the end of it. But somehow they turned it into that he needs housing and shit now. And that was what Peter Yorkloff was talking about years ago. When he was a case manager of mine and said, you and the government have a problem. I said, what do you mean? Because they keep pushing the goal line on me. They keep keeping me working and pulling the goal line back on me. When I follow through on my part, when it's time for me to get my credit, they pull the goal line on me, the federal government. They keep he told me to do it. He said, you and the government have a fucking problem. They're doing the same shit. I'm 50 years old and shit. But it's because they keep these people use the shit out of me. And after my father, you understand? They be, just so I could be in a household. So look like this. If I lack the mental capacity, I'm going to be making some dumb fucking decisions in housing. Bringing people in I don't need to bring in. That's the idea. And that's what that medication do to you. You don't think straight. You do make some stupid fucking mistakes. Meanwhile, when I was on the medication, Gerard kept busting me in my goddamn sternum, my stomach, and shit. Every chance he got, it basically let me, because that's how he felt about psych patients. Then they want to they don't know what to do with me. And shit, federal marshals, it's your fucking fault.